Bristol City ultimately were left disappointed to go from Huddersfield with just a point with the volume of chances created at the John Smiths, but we'll be hoping for an improved display and an improved result at Blackburn Rovers. City travel to Ewood Park for their second consecutive away game in the week, hoping to rectify that performance and make it 3 this time at Blackburn. As mentioned, it was a disappointing outcome for Bristol City at the John Smiths, but there was a lot of positives to be taken from that game, with steps being made in the right direction. On the ball, we were much better and moved the ball around in very tricky conditions in Yorkshire, and generally looked far more of a threat than we did, especially against Norwich when we had the impetus and we were in the ascendancy and we were the ones trying to find the winner. And it generally looked like a far more improved performance, which ultimately was being let down by a lack of finishing touch yet again, and being caught out on the counter-attack in the first half to go 1-0 down certainly doesn't help when a team is currently in a bit of a sticky patch and is looking for a few goals up the pitch. Second half performance was far better. Tommy Conway got on the score sheet very early. Good to see him back on the score sheet, and hopefully that retains his confidence, and hopefully that is positive for Bristol City, because we need Tommy Conway firing on all fronts if Bristol City are going to do well and progress up the league table. And generally, it was a very dominant display in the second half. But yet again, that lack of finishing touch in front of goal just is our downfall at the moment. And not the volume of chances being created, which was arguably a problem beforehand. It's just that goal-scoring touch at the end. Goals have certainly not been a problem for Blackburn this season. They are one of the highest-scoring sides in the Championship. They have got the most goals in the top half for a team that's not in the top 6, if that makes any sense to you. They've scored more goals than Sunderland, West Brom, and they've scored the same amount of goals as Southampton as well. So they are a very, very good side going forward. A lot of that is ex-Bristol City player Sammy Smodic, who's been leading the front top scorer in the Championship so far, and Blackburn look a very, very real threat going forward. Even with that goal-scoring output Blackburn have produced this season, I'd like to think they've got a nice balance across the pitch, including Andrew Moran, who's been a really, really good technical player, Adam Morton, who is a brilliant passer of the ball in the middle of the pitch, Lewis Travis, Ryan Hedges, Harry Pickering, Dom Hyam. They've got some really good balance across the team. So this will definitely not be just about the goals for Blackburn. They are also a pretty well-rounded side, and Bristol City and Liam Manning, I'm sure, will have done their work on Blackburn, and we have to be very wary of the threats they will not only possess up top, across the pitch, and especially in midfield as well. I think we're going to see a game where two sides are going to be possession-based, going to be attacking, and hopefully from a Bristol City perspective, we have the better attack, but on the basis of recent evidence, it's not looking that way. And with forwards, well, our best forwards, Mark Sykes, Sam Bell, potentially Tommy Conway, Anson Mehmeti, Harry Cornick, when we can deploy in their right positions, it's always going to be a bit of a tricky task to see where exactly Bristol City get their goal threat from and their creativity from as well. That said, I am hoping for further development in the pattern of play, because I think, as I said, we did see a major improvement in style of play, the in possession style and the shape, and hopefully that just is carried on in this game at Blackburn. What I want to see is a team that's willing to take the game to a relatively high-skilled opposition, high-level opposition away from home, and hopefully come out on top and score a few goals as well. I'm stating the bleeding obvious here when I say I want a secure defensive performance. I also want a bit of an improved attacking performance, i.e. put our chances away. But ultimately, at the moment, we just need that little bit more going forward, and I think we are getting there under Manning. The changes in the second half on Saturday were interesting. Mark Sykes and Joe Williams both went off relatively early in the second half. Mark Sykes came off first, and that's a suggestion that both will probably be rested for this game on Tuesday. Joe Williams, I thought, who came in for Taylor Garden-Hickman, was brilliant against Huddersfield. Maybe a bit of a different game, maybe a game where a bit more legs are needed, and if that case, maybe Taylor Garden-Hickman is brought back in. But I'd suggest on merit, Joe Williams probably starts this one as well. Very, very harsh on Taylor Garden-Hickman, who I thought was brilliant against Norwich and has been brilliant for a few weeks. But based on that performance, I think Joe Williams warrants another start, despite his injury concerns. So it'd probably be Max, Viner, Dickey, Tanner. I hope that Campering comes in for Sam Bell on the left-hand side, just to make it a little bit more defensively secure, because we did get caught out quite a number of times from Delano, Bergsorg and Danny Ward and Josh Koroma against Huddersfield, and certainly don't want to do that against Sammy Smodic, do we? So I'd suggest Campering comes in for Sam Bell, goes into a back four, out of possession anyway. Matty James, Joe Williams and Jason Knight in midfield. Tommy Conway, Mark Sykes and Andy Vyman probably start, so I thought was a much major improved performance against Huddersfield on Saturday, and despite recent criticism, fairly so I think, it was a much improved performance, and honestly Sam Bell I don't think has done enough really to warrant another start, so Andy Vyman probably gets a nod out on the left. Well, in terms of score prediction, I think there's going to be a tight game, and I think it's going to be relatively high scoring as well. Two sides who hopefully are going to be possession based and really attacking and take the game to each other. From Bristol City perspective, I'd be hoping that the chances are being taken, and with Tommy Conway's goal on the weekend, hopefully his confidence is sky high, and hopefully that results in his goal tally now improving as well. I think it's 4 goals in 8 starts for Tommy Conway, which is not a bad return at all. So, from a Bristol City perspective, that will be the major kind of maximum we can hope for. So, yeah, I'll be positive and I'll back us to get something at Blackburn. I'll go for a 2-2 draw in a relatively high-scoring game. Let me know your score prediction down in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching this match preview. Hit like if you haven't already, so it really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel as well by hitting that big red button down below. Bristol City's last home game was against Norwich City, and Liam Manning suffered his second defeat in charge as Bristol City manager on home turf against a relatively struggling Canaries side. Here I was at the game, and you can check out my matchday vlog, which will be on screen right now. So please click on that and enjoy yourself in about 15 minutes of pure misery for me.